And also to deliver keynote remarks, I now would like to present Mr. Demirer, who currently chairs TURYİD. So, Ministers, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, peers, and dear members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to salute you with my respect. Good morning. It looks as if this was meant to be sort of, in terms of the tickets sold, it was meant to be a full audience, but it looks as if people are yet just about to arrive. So the most delectable definition of the economy pertains to gastronomy. So welcome back for the Global Gastroeconmy Conference. It's a wonderful date, and it actually accommodates so many different cultures and also culinary habits. This is almost like an amalgamation of different lifestyles, and I think that it is one of the most pivotal milestones of sustainable development. Gastronomy is one of the most profound reasons why people travel. It's good food, equitable distribution, and also proper, just and equitable use of resources, and also the need to respect and to attain sustainability of supply or security of supply of the food chain. I think these are some of the most overriding topics for gastronomy. So who are we? Who do we represent within the association? We're now celebrating our 15th anniversary. In the business, we represent 187 different brands, 250 businesses operating overseas, some 1,550 altogether. We currently employ 50,000 people domestically, and we cater to 60,000 visitors per annum. Furthermore, we generate 20 billion liras in terms of total volume. Now, in terms of out-of-household consumption in Turkey, so out of total food and drink consumption, out-of-home consumption currently represents 50%. Now, the reason why TURYİD decided to hold this conference is the following. We believe that sustainable development is basically indispensable for the economy to grow, which means that the government and NGOs must collaborate. The public sector and NGOs have got to join forces with a view towards building sustainable development. It's like out of all creative and innovative economies in and around Europe, we believe that culinary arts and gastronomy is perhaps the most ingenious of all. And this is a conference that helps share knowledge and experience. It certainly is a leading business because culinary arts is all about share experience and knowledge. You don't actually take anything back home as you know, in terms of a commodity or a purchase. From different parts of the country, from the east to the west, from the north to the south, the country represents so many different sort of local indigenous wonders to become a culinary attraction. So still there remains a myriad of heritage that are yet to be promoted. And there's also a plethora of entrepreneurial wonders and examples. So Turkey still has a great big potential to become a culinary destination. And we feel accountable exactly to do so, or to serve that mission. This conference is going to take one full day. We're here to reflect on the economy, the role of culinary arts in terms of hospitality and travel, And there's also sort of social gastronomy and also gastrodiplomacy, which I think are brand new topics for this year. So hospitality, tourism, travel, and gastronomy, they certainly cater to building an innovative economy. What is that going to bring about? It means that we can build a far more competitive economy, something whereby you deliver a unique selling proposition, something that can't be copied or emulated. That's the only way you can deliver such products. So for Turkey, it will enable Turkey to create that unique sales proposition. Wherever you go worldwide, people are traveling a lot, but it's no longer about mass tourism, but rather kind of offering that individual experience. And that's what's very much sought after. People want to experience something brand new, not necessarily kind of mass made, something more haute couture. So it's all about delivering that kind of indigenous taste. It's exactly the same with arts, like from local to universal. Turkey has so much more to offer across so many different parts of the country. We've got a plethora of indigenous tastes yet to be explored. So there's going to be much more to come in the years ahead. And this year's conference is all about the need to build a strategy where we want to offer what's locally, get it to be consumed locally to help create local prosperity. So by 2020, tourism and travel will be somehow marrying gastronomy to help flourish local areas, because that can help improve economies, prevent exodus into bigger cities, and it will also help them be proud of their local produce, local crops. You'll hear much more down the road. It will also foster social gastronomy and interface and interaction. There's so many more people that will take the floor. Ebru Demir from Mardin, and make sure you don't miss out on her presentation. İlhan Koçoğlu from Kars, he too will deliver a great deal. Ovacık is the topic for Refika Birgül, and also Can Ortabaş from Urla Wineries. He's the chairman of the board in his vineyards. He's going to take us through how they built their vineyards and their chateau. So you've got 4 different continents being represented today, people who've traveled from around the world to make it to this event, and they're here to teach us a great deal in terms of their experience and knowledge, and they've kindly spared their time, for which we're very, very grateful.
El emeği güçtür, birleşiniz.
Manual force is a great source of strength, so join your forces. As he pointed out, the founder of the Republic, he was a great man, once a farmer. So we shall deliberate on the need to build cooperatives. Agricultural cooperatives will help sort of point in the direction of women, employing more women in the labor force, because it fosters pluralism. It also harnesses sort of engagement and involvement of constituencies, and it also helps build a local to universal model. We put a great deal of importance on building cooperatives. We've got to empower local forces through building cooperatives. That's why we've got authorities in the room attending a panel which will be all about the importance of cooperatives. Wineries, vineyards is another topic. Evidence-based. It's clear that based on evidence, its birthplace is Anatolia. In terms of terroir, this is the most indigenous, protégé, and sort of outstanding worldwide. You've got so many different countries worldwide currently topping the list in terms of wine production. But do we really reckon our potential in terms of vineyards, in terms of hectares, and in terms of hectares and total volume of grape production? We're like number 5, number 6 in terms of growth. But then again, we still only harvest 2% of our current vineyards, where the potential is still worth $50 billion worldwide. France currently caters 10 billion US dollars altogether, which is the biggest. Our potential is another $10 billion in terms of total monetary value of production. But do we really acknowledge how immense our potential could be? The Deputy Minister of Trade and Commerce is here, and so is the Chairman of the Turkish Exporters Assembly. We also would like to take you through TURYID, the national accreditation and certification scheme, with a stamp of approval. There are 250 restaurants currently operating worldwide, and that helps build brand. It promotes our national brand name. It almost is like a flagship entity, but it also helps promote olive oil, cheese, bulgur wheat, and for those of you who are Peruvian, but we love quinoa. Certainly, we love the Peruvian crop. It's one of our favorite ingredients at the moment in our households, out in our restaurants, how quinoa has actually become one of the mainstays of Turkish cuisine. Lima was the very first Peruvian restaurant to start up in London, and that's how this story unfolds. Now is the time. Yes, we've got plenty of outposts in London. We've got the CEO and managing director of the Dream Group, and he's going to tell us about Ria, their most popular London outpost. What's it all about? This isn't just about kind of exporting Turkish produce. It also fosters like complementary products such as culinary industry, sort of building kitchenware, furnishings, tableware, be it glassware or china, plus textiles or sort of work outfits for service staff. So there you go. That's exactly why it's so important that we need sort of restaurateurs who build international outposts. We've got Emel, there she is. There's going to be another session that will cater to how the private sector, private businesses need to work together closer, and how the scope of the scheme, i.e. TURYID, can help provide bigger, more extensive incentives for private businesses. There'll be another session on mutual funds, joint ventures, and also their appetite for investing in culinary arts. This is from 2007, 2017, and 2018, as was last year. But it's striking that this year, out of total GDP, restaurants currently make up 1.9% altogether in terms of total output. Spaniards in the room would acknowledge that it's currently at 6.2% in Spain. In comparison, in Peru, gastroeconomy makes up 10% of their total local GDP. So I just wanted to point out, simply because it's sort of food and beverage and drinks in total. If it were to become sort of a trend, it's at the end of the day, people are going to invest more. They would sort of they would buy in, build, generate more profit, bigger revenue, and then eventually exit, or they would start trading their businesses across stock markets. Now, why? Because this is Billy Darden, who started up his first restaurant in the 1930s. He passed away, but then again, he built an empire which was worth $13.6 billion. in terms of total market capitalization. So I just wanted to go back and point out that you've got the two market cap businesses in Turkey, the total of which could hardly measure up to the Darden Group, and they only operate 2 restaurants. Now, fast food, is it on the chart? No. How much is McDonald's worth in terms of market cap? Well, it would be this is actually at 140 billion US dollars worldwide. This is like a full-fledged kind of value chain, or operating a full-fledged value chain. So just to wrap up, our primary goal at the moment is to grow the role of gastronomy in tourism travel, helping to generate a bigger trade surplus for the economy. Now, all of this is fresh data. $647 were per capita spent amongst travelers, generating 29.5 billion US dollars in total volume in terms of revenue, with over 45 million visitors altogether. Now, the president says that by 2050, we ought to be attracting not just 50 million, but 70 million tourists, generating 70 million in terms of total GDP output. So it's also about growing per capita spend. $647, is that good enough? Because in Spain, you've got $1,075 spent per individual. Spain and Turkey share a lot in common. They were more or less the same as we are 10 years ago. They don't just promote their beaches and plenty of sunshine, but they've become a culinary haven, because in Spain, food and drinks, food, wine, and everything else is a matter of a lifestyle. So if we make it to above $1,000 too, we would be generating not a mere 47 million, but actually 75 billion in total revenue. So there you go. By 2023, that would be more than a third. It would help make up more than a third of our total kind of surplus or deficit objective for the year 2023. Social gastronomy will be the next topic. It is a magnificent subject because it points at the fact that it's not just about eating. It certainly is a magical, spellbinding kind of area in science, because you've got more than 3 million refugees that have fled from Syria. Social gastronomy helps build bridges. It certainly is all about building or cross-fertilizing between different cultures and lifestyles. Gastro-diplomacy will be another topic for the afternoon, how because culinary habits can help build national brands. Diplomacy is attracting corporate and governance attraction, especially where, when you run into political stalemate, sometimes solutions can be generated through culinary wisdom. Culture, lifestyle, and gastronomy can help build political bonds in diplomacy. So exchanging culture is certainly one that caters to the mind, to the soul, and also to the stomach. Oscar Wilde once said, and I quote, "I can't stand people that do not take food seriously," the famous author. And we certainly take food very seriously. Food is in the center of whatever we do every day, day by day. And there are 4 fundamental essences to what we do, and that's our roots, our traditions, our customs, what's happening today, and also what will happen or what should happen in the future. Thank you.